right, so let's talk about directing. And this has become a controversial category for one really important reason. There are only 5 nominees in this category, and now there's up to 10 Best Picture nominations. So it always used to be that, oh, well, you get nominated for Best Director and Best Picture. It's sort of like a package deal. Mm-hmm. So people always get uptight when a film doesn't get nominated for both. But I think that's like totally out the window now. Like you can't sit down and honestly say, oh, well, there's 4 films this year who didn't get nominated for Best Director who were nominated for Best Picture. And it's just one of those things I think we're going to have to let go.
Yeah, I agree. I think what surprised people this year is the Directors Guild awards are almost always like 99% the same as the nominees for Best Director. Mm-hmm. And 3 of the 5, the Director Guild, Affleck, Bigelow, and Tom Hooper did not get nominated for Best Director. So this is
Tarantino's not in there.
And Tarantino, and this, so it's just a very strange category this year.
I can see why Bigelow didn't get it. I mean, besides a controversial topic, I think we earlier. I know, sorry about that, but we had mentioned that Zero Dark 30 felt pretty long and could have been made a little more concise. And I honestly feel like that wasn't a great directing job. It was a great film.
Yeah.
But not a great directing job, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I would say the same about Argo. I mean, I totally understand why Ben Affleck wasn't nominated in this category. I wouldn't have nominated him in this category. I think it's premature to be talking about him as like one of the essential directors of this generation, the way people are trying to anoint him at this point. I mean, the nicest thing I can say about Ben Affleck as a director is that he has really good instincts about what will make a good story. That's about it so far. I mean, he's done 3 movies. 2 of them were very good. 1 of them was above average. And people are talking about
casting,
him like, he's great at casting.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, it's just like, it just feels premature. It feels like, I've been working on this analogy, and maybe it works and maybe it doesn't, but it's sort of like if your cat learns how to open the front door, and you're like, I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah.
It's like you're still amazed that the cat did something amazing, but you're more amazed that they did something you didn't expect.
Yeah. Or if your cat stops talking with a Boston accent.
Yes. Then that's very impressive as well.
Very impressive.
As far as this category is concerned, I think for me,
did we even mention the films?
No. Amour, Beast of the Southern Wild, Life of Pi, Lincoln, and Silver Linings Playbook. I didn't like Beast of the Southern Wild. I did not like it. I didn't get why everyone else liked it so much. I felt
didn't like it.
A little left out about that one. So
I'll defend it.
Go for it.
That would actually be if I got to pick who won this category. I thought it was an inventive way of telling a story. Mm-hmm. And I like films that can get at a child's sense of wonder without being condescending towards that child. Okay. And I really thought that this film did that. And I would really love to see Ben Zeitlin win, but there's no chance of that.
Yeah.
No chance.
I will agree with you that looking at it that way, it did accomplish that very well. I think Life of Pi did that a little bit better.
Okay, yeah.
Sort of the way a child sort of looks at the world in such a way that, just to make sense of the picture in front of them. Maybe that's giving away too much about Life of Pi, but it's been out for a while, so whatever. I would go with Silver Linings Playbook for this one, though. I really think David O. Russell just did something. This could have been a really sort of like really basic. It could have been what the trailer showed. Mm-hmm. It could have been that film that was like this flowery rom-com that totally forgettable and no one could care less about it, but it became this really great, interesting film. And I think it's a product of the 2 lead actors and David O. Russell that made that happen. So I would think either Silver Linings Playbook or Life of Pi for me are the ones that I'm looking at in this category.
Mm-hmm. My write-in candidate would actually be Catherine Bigelow for Zero Dark 30.
I would as well.
She's one of the few filmmakers today, I think, who knows how to communicate information visually. I mean, anyone who doesn't know where that movie stands on torture, I think, is not really paying attention to it. And the way she staged the bunker raid and the shooting of bin Laden, which I think you mentioned, any other director would have had a slow motion bullet going in, into the guy in the lair. I mean, the way she did it was just perfect. So I love that. But I would say, I just, I think my hunch tells me who will win is going to be Ang Lee, because Life of Pi, even though he's already won before too, Life of Pi has very quietly become a big international hit, and I think Hollywood is kind of paying attention a little more to that. So
it's so visually stunning and new.
Yeah,
Ways that I think I could totally see him winning. Obviously, Spielberg's the favorite, but I could see Ang Lee winning this.
Yeah, well, Spielberg's the favorite like every time he's nominated, and he's only won the one, so I don't think they're going to start throwing Oscars at him at this point. So I don't see that Lincoln is that sort of big in that way, I guess, is what I would say.
Has he only won one? I thought he won 12.
He's won two. Well, he won director for Private Ryan, but Private Ryan did not, and
Schindler's List. Yeah.
But Private Ryan did not win Best Picture.
Oh, okay, so he did win for Private Ryan as well. Okay,
Yeah,
I
so
knew he won
already,
for Schindler's List.
Yeah, so he's already won twice. So.
Okay.
If I had to throw one oddball candidate out there for this one, it'd be Richard Linklater for Bernie, which I'll talk about a little bit more in a minute. But it did something that documentaries tend to do nowadays is fictionalize, like do reenactments to show the passage of what happened in the past. And in this one, he actually took the people that the story kind of happened to and then mixed in the actors, Jack Black, Shirley MacLaine, some of the other people that were in it. And I thought it was such a really interesting way to tell that story. And I love the film. So I really, there's no chance that he was going to be nominated, but that's who I would have thrown in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, to kind of get back to what we were saying earlier, I think I just to boil it down, I think Ang Lee is probably going to win it. I really do. I have a very weird feeling in my gut about that. Although I do want to see David O. Russell win it. I do. I mean,
I want to see his speech.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
F you, Lily Tomlin.
It's a Silver Linings Playbook just was something that I went and saw and have just been telling a lot of people about. So I really kind of just have to stick with that because I really hope that a lot of other people will get to see it. I hope it wins enough of something for it to get a little bit more of a love by the general public. But I really do think Ang Lee did something special with Life of Pi. Andy, you had spoken of it maybe months ago, and I just kind of brushed it off as something that I wouldn't enjoy, but I think I got a lot more out of it than I was expecting. So.
Yeah, and I think, I would say that I'm hoping Life of Pi wins. I feel like that movie just blew me away. I really think, looking back, it is probably my favorite film of the year. And just with the amount of time, like, how do you make a boat in the middle of the ocean interesting? And the whole thing is just you're glued to the screen the whole time. And even though you're thinking in the back of your head, like, this is all fake, you're buying it,
And there was a lot of, I also think there's James Cameron and a lot of other directors that work in that world of 3D storytelling have just come out and said, what an amazing jump that this film is, and the artistry around using the technology. Yeah. So I think that might have something to play into the voting for that one.
Yeah, this is the only film that was released in 3D out of these five. So, 3D still isn't sort of there. A lot of more directors are trying it out. This is sort of the first, I think, really like artistic film about 3D that wasn't like designed as a big blockbuster like Avatar or something like that.
Yeah, you never saw it as listed as Life of Pi 3D.
Yeah. It was Life of Pi. If you want to see it in 3D, we've got that version.
Sure.
Yeah. A Place for Film is recorded at WFIU Studios in Bloomington, Indiana.